Hey guys, it's Danielle, and today I am going to do a marriage chat Monday with you guys. But before we jump into this Monday marriage chat, if you're new here, hi, my name is Danielle and I am the non-traditional mommy, and I have been married to my wonderful husband for almost 14 years. We have 11 children together. We are business partners. We homeschool, and I have a background in marriage therapy, and so sometimes on this channel we do Monday marriage challenges and marriage chats. So if you're interested in those kind of things, then click the subscribe button and join the family. For the rest of my non-traditional family, you guys know you're the MVPs and I love you bunches. Now let's talk about this Monday's marriage chat. So I'm sitting in my wonderful backyard. I hope you guys got to watch the vlog of us redoing our backyard. I am loving my backyard, you guys. I spend so much time out here, so I probably will do a lot of my videos this summer in the backyard. So anyway, you guys, if you watched my last Monday marriage challenge, you know that I took a break from marriage challenges and I wasn't sure if I was going to pick them back up. I wanted to do something a little different, and I wanted to add a little spice to the marriage challenges or Monday marriage challenges and do Monday marriage chat. So I feel like, you know, as a married person or as a person in a committed relationship, because you don't have to be married, you guys, to do this, just in a committed relationship, that sometimes you want to ask questions or you want to chat about something and you may not want to ask a close friend or a family member. So, you know, sometimes it leaves you kind of in your head about these things. And so I'm hoping that this will provide us an opportunity to chat about some marriage things, safe space to do that. So I'm gonna start doing some Monday marriage chats. So if you guys have questions or a topic you would like to chat about and discuss, then feel free to either leave that below or send me an email or DM me on Instagram, whatever you find easy. We'll just chat it out and do some Monday marriage chats. All right, you guys, so this week's marriage chat is going to be about being married with children, and who do you put first? Do you put your children first or do you put your spouse first? So that's the marriage chat for today. Who comes first? This is one of those things that go from always your children to always your spouse to sometimes somewhere in the middle, and I think that I fall somewhere in the middle on my feelings with this. You have those people that strongly believe that your spouse should always come first no matter what, and then you have those people that are more attachment parenting and feel like once you have a child that your child comes first until you're done parenting them type thing. So you kind of have those people that are on total opposites of the scale when it comes to this topic. What I learned when studying as a marriage therapist was that when a couple has a child, that is the most unhappiest time of their marriage. That having children decreases marital satisfaction, and that's just because having a child puts a totally different type of strain and stress on a marriage that most people are not prepared for or ready to deal with. A lot of people, marriage satisfaction tends to go down during the parenting years. So with that being said, I believe that there is a time when you have to put your child first. So there are seasons to this thing, you guys. This is not a straight line thing. There are curves to this thing. So I feel like there's a time when the baby is first born that you have to put this baby first. You're talking about a person that could not survive without you. This little tiny person literally could not live, survive, or thrive without their parent. So during that precious time, you absolutely have to put this little tiny fragile person first. And I feel like if you have a marriage that was already whole and already solid, so to speak, that you both will be on the same wavelength and understanding to know that, okay, we have to nurture and put this little person first, and that neither one of us are losing something or missing out on something, that we're just in a season of nurturing this little person together. So during those first year, maybe even first 2 years of this child's life, you're absolutely putting that little person first. However, as that child begins to get older, the curve begins to shift. And so you're starting to less and less put the child first and then focus more on your spouse. So it's kind of doing this type of thing where the curve for putting your child first is beginning to go down, and then the curve for putting yourself and your spouse first is beginning to go up. And let's not even talk about self versus spouse. That's a whole different topic. And if you guys want to chat about that, let me know below. But the curve begins to shift. So a lot of people, once they have nurtured this little person and grown attached to this little person, as a mother, you've grown this person in your womb, you've nurtured them, and it becomes almost impossible to think about putting somebody else's needs before this little person needs. However, what we know is that by teaching a child that there are other people's needs and other things that will come before them, it teaches them patience, it teaches them self-resilience, it teaches them empathy, it teaches them how to function in a healthy relationship. So having a child see these things can be beneficial for the child. It's not a situation where it is detrimental to the child that you're starting to put yourself and spouse needs first. So you guys, when it comes to this, we're not talking about sacrificing at the sake of putting your spouse's needs first. There are healthy and unhealthy ways to putting your spouse's needs first. You don't want to ever feel like you are sacrificing to a fault, if you know what that means. There's always a little bit of sacrifice in meeting somebody else's needs, but you don't want to feel like you're sacrificing to a fault. I hope you guys understand what that means. If you don't, we could talk more in detail about that in a later video. But there are healthy and unhealthy ways to placing your spouse's needs first. When your kids see this happening, it should show up in a loving way. It should make your kids feel loved. It should make them feel proud. It shouldn't feel like you know, it shouldn't feel like a strain. It shouldn't feel like a burden. Your kids shouldn't feel like they are losing out on something or missing out on something. It shouldn't feel that way, you guys. I hope that makes sense. It should feel good for everybody. Your kids should be learning what it looks like to have a healthy marriage and healthy relationship. So I hope that makes sense. Let me know if we need to do a whole video on healthy and unhealthy and sacrifice to a fault type situation. So how does that look? How does it look to begin to slowly put your child's needs first and begin to put your spouse's needs first? So that can start as small as putting your baby to bed early, setting a strict bedtime and sticking to that strict bedtime no matter what. So your child having a 7 o'clock bedtime, and no matter what, you are sticking to that 7 o'clock bedtime, because at 7 o'clock, that is when you and your spouse connect. That is when you and your spouse spend that quality time together. So even though your child may want to stay up or you know, may have done something great at school, or anything that where you feel like, oh, well, they could stay up. You are saying no to that, and you are putting this person's needs first. For example, with us, ours is in the morning typically, and so our kids can wake up and they know that they are to stay in bed until we say you can get out of bed. So that is us putting our needs before their needs. You might want to get up, you might be ready to play, you might be ready to start your day, but you're going to stay in the bed until we are done, me and my spouse, my husband, done bonding, and then you can get up and we can meet your needs and fix you breakfast and those type of things. So that, once again, is putting our needs first. So little tiny increments like that. I know for some people, one of the ways that they meet their spouse's needs first could be fixing their plate first when it comes to dinner. If you're the type of person that fixes everyone in your house plate, you might fix your spouse's plate first and then feed the kids next. Just those little tiny things. That is not by any means, you guys, degrading to the child or teaching the child anything that says, hey, you're insignificant or anything like that. You know, and if you are explaining to your kids as they grow, and as we do, that hey, this is my way of showing daddy or mommy love, you know, this is our way of showing them that we appreciate them and that we appreciate everything they do for us, and I do it by doing this, then again, that is teaching your kids what it means to show love in whatever way they choose to show love. So little tiny ways like that is how you begin to decrease your child's needs and increase your spouse's needs. And then as that child becomes more self-sufficient and more independent, then you begin to increase. So another example of that may be, hey, tonight we're not going to go to your soccer game. You know, grandma and granddad are going to take you to your soccer game, and mommy and daddy are going to go on a date, or mommy and daddy are going to go on a short getaway. So once again, I'm putting my needs, my spouse's needs first before my child's needs. Another way is going in your room and closing your door, as your children are more self-sufficient and independent, going in your room, closing your door and locking the door, and explaining to your kids that when our door is closed and when our door is locked, that means mommy and daddy are having quiet time, we're having me time, we're having us time, and this is not a time for you. So whatever need you may have, it can wait until our door is open and ready for you guys to come in. So we even bought a do not disturb sign for our bedroom door, because there's times our door is closed and it's just closed. That doesn't mean that the kids can't come in and interact with us. But when that do not disturb sign is on our door, it means do not disturb. We are having mommy and daddy time, and whatever needs, desires, wants that you may have, they can wait until we're done having our time. So again, you guys, little small increments like that. It doesn't have to be major, huge things, but little small increments like that. Here's what I used to tell all of my couples that struggle with putting their spouse's needs first over their children. One day, your kids are going to grow up, and they're gonna fly out of the nest, and they're gonna have their own spouse and their own families, and you're gonna be left with this person. And the last thing you want is for, once all your kids are gone, you're left with this person and you're looking at them like, who are you? Why are we married? What do we have in common? Absolutely nothing. And then you find yourself getting a divorce. Because the other thing that we learned was that a high number of divorces happened when they became empty nesters. And that is because you no longer have the children to focus on. You no longer have that common denominator. And what ends up happening is once the children are out the house and you don't have them to focus on, you find that you don't know this person, or you have nothing in common with this person, or you don't know how to live with this person, and you don't want to be married to this person. And think about that, you guys. Think about 18 to 20 years of your life you've lived in a house with somebody that you really did not have any desire to really be married to. So I've always told, and continue to tell, any couple, young couple that I work with, or even older couple, however that may look, that it is so important that you guys put your needs as a couple and self first before your kids, so that you know that you are remaining healthy. So when those children fly out of the nest, which they will, you still have a healthy marriage intact. So while it may be hard, you guys, I know as a mom, it is super hard to find the time to put yourself and then your spouse first. It is so important that we do that, even as a husband or wife, however that looks. It is so important that we do that. And so back to the initial question, do you put your children's needs or your spouse's needs first? The answer to that is going to be your spouse's. However, there is a season where your children's needs are going to absolutely have to come first. However, as you move out of that season, your spouse's needs do need to come first. That is my opinion. Every marriage works differently. However, research does show that a marriage will last longer when the partners are putting themselves and their spouse's needs first. So keep that in mind. So if you guys have any questions about any of this, or what are your thoughts? Do you feel like your children or your spouse's needs should come first? And remember, this is not about self versus spouse, self versus children, because that's a whole nother topic. This is strictly about children versus spouse. What are you guys' thoughts? Do you think one comes before the other? What do you guys think about that? Thank you guys for watching this marriage chat. A marriage challenge to this chat will come to follow next week. But let's talk about this chat. Let's talk about this. Tell me what you guys think. If you're liking the marriage chats and you want to keep them going, give me a thumbs up for this video. If you have not joined the family, you guys hit the subscribe button and join the family. I love my YouTube family. You guys are the MVPs. And again, I love you. Thanks for watching.